Lee Dae-ho stood on the observation deck of the main colony building, watching the morning sun rise over New Busan. The orange light painted the wheat fields in golden colors. 15 years ago, this planet was nothing but rocks and dust. Now, 50,000 people called it home. Another peaceful day, he said to himself, sipping his coffee. As colony administrator, Lee had seen this place grow from a few metal buildings to a real city. The terraforming machines hummed quietly in the distance, slowly making the air better for humans to breathe. Park Min-soo walked up behind him. The security chief looked worried, which was unusual. Park was always calm, even during the worst storms or equipment failures. "Administrator Lee, we need to talk," Park said. His voice was serious. Lee turned around. "What's wrong?" "I've been getting strange readings on our long-range sensors for the past 3 days. Ships moving at the edge of our system, but they don't answer our signals." Lee frowned. "Could be traders or explorers. This is open space." "That's what I thought too. But these ships are too big to be traders, and they're staying just far enough away that we can't get clear scans." The two men walked to the security office. Park showed Lee the sensor data on a large screen. Green dots moved slowly across a star map. "See how they move?" Park pointed at the screen. "They're not just passing through. They're watching us." Lee studied the patterns. He had been a ship captain before becoming administrator. These movements did look strange. "Have you told Earth Command about this?" Lee asked. "I sent 3 reports. They said it's probably nothing. Just normal space traffic." Lee nodded, but he felt uneasy. Earth was 47 light-years away. Messages took weeks to travel between Earth and New Busan. By the time Earth Command could help, anything could happen. Kim So-ra rushed into the office. The agricultural director looked excited, not worried like Park. "Administrator Lee, the new wheat strain is working perfectly. We'll have enough food to feed 100,000 people next year." "That's great news, So-ra," Lee said, but his mind was still on the sensor readings. So-ra noticed Park's worried face. "What's happening? You both look like someone died." Park explained about the unknown ships. So-ra's smile disappeared. "Should we be scared?" she asked. "We don't know yet," Lee said, "but we should be ready for anything." The communication center was across the hall. Yun Tae-min, their young communications officer, was always there, monitoring signals from across the galaxy. "Tae-min," Lee called out. "Any strange communications lately? Unknown languages or coded signals?" Tae-min looked up from his equipment. "Actually, yes. I've been picking up signals that don't match any known human or friendly alien patterns." "The computer can't translate them." Park's face got more serious. "Why didn't you report this?" "I did. Earth Command said it was probably just cosmic noise or old probe signals." Lee felt his stomach drop. 3 different signs of trouble, and Earth Command wasn't taking any of them seriously. "Tae-min, send another message to Earth. Tell them we have multiple signs of unknown activity. Request permission to activate emergency protocols." "Yes, sir." That afternoon, Lee called a meeting with all department heads. The colony's leaders gathered in the main conference room. Through the windows, they could see families playing in the parks and children going to school. "I want everyone to know about our situation," Lee began. He explained about the ships, the strange signals, and Earth Command's lack of concern. Dr. Bae Yoon-ji, the colony's chief medical officer, spoke first. "Should we evacuate the civilians?" "To where?" asked Ryu. Sang-min, the transportation chief. "Our ships can only carry a few hundred people, and Earth is too far away." "What about the other colonies?" suggested Kim So-ra. Park shook his head. "The nearest human colony is 23 light-years away. If those unknown ships are hostile, they could catch our transport ships easily." The room went quiet. Everyone realized they were trapped. "We need to prepare for the worst," Lee said. "Park, activate all defense systems. I know they're not much, but it's all we have." Our defense systems are meant for pirates or small raiders, Park said. A few laser cannons and missile pods. Nothing that could stop a real military force. Do what you can. That evening, Lee sat in his office, looking at reports from across the colony. Food production was up, population was growing, education levels were high. New Busan was everything humans had hoped for when they started expanding to other worlds. Park knocked on his door. Administrator, the unknown ships are moving closer. They'll reach our outer sensor grid in 6 hours. Lee's hands shook as he picked up the communication device. Tae-min, any word from Earth? Just received their response, sir. Earth Command says to maintain normal operations. They believe the ships are friendly traders. Friendly traders don't hide from sensors and refuse to answer signals, Lee said. 3 hours later, Yoon Tae-min's voice echoed through the colony's speaker system. All residents, this is not a drill. Unknown ships have entered our system. Please remain calm and stay in your homes. Lee stood on the observation deck again, but this time the view was different. In the distance, bright lights moved across the dark sky. The unknown ships were no longer hiding. Park joined him. 15 large ships, military design. They're not responding to any communication attempts. How long do we have? At their current speed, they'll reach orbit in 2 hours. Lee thought about all the people in the colony, families, children, elderly people who had worked their whole lives to build this place. They trusted him to keep them safe. Send one final message to Earth, Lee said. Tell them we're under attack by unknown forces. Tell them to remember New Busan. The ships in the sky grew brighter as they got closer. Soon, the 50,000 people of New Busan would learn if the galaxy was as peaceful as Earth had told them. Lee Dae-ho watched the approaching lights and wondered if he would see another sunrise. Admiral Choi Jae-sung was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alarm started screaming through Earth Defense Headquarters in Geneva. Red lights flashed in every hallway. Officers ran to their stations. Admiral, to Command Center immediately, the speakers announced. Choi put down his coffee and walked quickly through the corridors. At 62 years old, he had seen many emergencies. Pirates attacking trade ships, equipment failures on space stations, natural disasters on colony worlds. But something felt different about this alarm. The command center was chaos. Dozens of officers stared at screens showing star maps, communication logs, and data streams. General Han Bo-ra was already there, her face pale. What's the situation? Choi asked. Automated probe just arrived from the New Busan system, Han replied. It's carrying emergency recordings. Intelligence Director Nam Hyun-woo approached them. His usually calm face looked shocked. Admiral, you need to see this recording immediately. They walked to a secure viewing room. Nam activated a large screen. The image showed Lee Dae-ho, New Busan's administrator, sitting in what looked like a damaged office. This is Administrator Lee Dae-ho of New Busan Colony, the recording began. If you're watching this, then our colony is probably gone. Unknown alien ships attacked us without warning. They destroyed our defense systems in minutes. They're hunting our people for sport before they finish us off. The image shook as explosions happened nearby. These aliens call themselves the Vorthak Empire. They say humans are weak and deserve to die. They're broadcasting our destruction to other species. As a warning, Lee's voice was steady, but his eyes showed fear. Tell our families on Earth that we tried to fight. Tell them we died as humans should. And tell Earth Command that maybe it's time to stop pretending we're helpless. The recording ended. The room was silent. How old is this message? Choi asked. 3 weeks, Nam replied. It took that long for the automated probe to reach Earth. So New Busan is gone. 50,000 people, no survivors. Choi felt anger building in his chest. 50,000 innocent people, murdered by aliens who thought humans were easy targets. Where's President Kang? Choi asked. Emergency meeting in 30 minutes, Han said. All department heads are coming. The emergency meeting was held in the deepest level of the government complex. President Kang Subin entered the room with a face like stone. She was only 45, but she looked older today. I've seen the recording, she said without introduction. Now I want to know what we're going to do about it. Nam stood up. Ma'am, intelligence shows the Vorthak Empire controls 12 star systems. They have about 300 military ships and billions of citizens. How long would it take to mobilize our fleet? Kang asked. General Han looked confused. Ma'am, our fleet is mostly exploration and transport ships. We have maybe 50 combat vessels, designed for pirates and small threats. President Kang and Admiral Choi looked at each other. Something passed between them that the others didn't understand. General Han, Kang said slowly, what do you know about Protocol 7? I've never heard of Protocol 7, ma'am. Kang nodded to Choi. The Admiral walked to a wall panel and placed his hand on a scanner. The panel opened, revealing a hidden control system. Computer, activate Protocol 7 authorization, Choi said. Admiral Choi Jae-sung, confirm identity. Identity confirmed, the computer replied. Protocol 7 activated, revealing classified assets. The room's main screen changed. Instead of showing 50 human ships, it now showed over 10,000. General Han stared at the screen. How is this possible? For 70 years, President Kang explained, Earth has been preparing for exactly this situation. Every generation we've built more ships, trained more soldiers, and developed better weapons. But we've hidden it all. Nam was reading data from his tablet, his face growing more shocked. Secret shipyards on the dark side of the moon. Hidden training bases on Mars, weapon research facilities in the asteroid belt. Why hide it? Han asked. Because, Choi said, if other species knew how strong we really were, they might attack us first. Better to let them think we're peaceful, farmers and traders. The colonies? Han asked. Were never just about farming, Kang replied. They were intelligence posts, watching for threats, learning about alien technology and culture. Every colonist knew they might die to protect Earth. Admiral Choi pulled up more data. We have complete files on 17 different alien species, including the Vorthak. We know their ship designs, their weapons, their tactics. And now they've given us a reason to use what we've learned, Kang said. Dr. Song Myung, the head of Advanced Weapons Research, was called to the meeting. She arrived carrying a briefcase and looking nervous. Dr. Song, Kang said, please tell us about Project Hammer. Song opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device. This is a quantum destabilizer. It can destroy matter at the molecular level. How big? Choi asked. This one could level a city block. Our ship-mounted versions could crack a planet. The room was quiet again. Dr. Song, Kang continued, what about the nanobotic warfare systems? Ready for deployment. We can turn enemy equipment against them or shut down their life support systems remotely. General Han looked sick. We've had these weapons for how long? Some of them for decades, Song replied. We just never had a reason to use them. President Kang stood up. The Vorthak Empire thinks they destroyed a helpless farming colony. They think humans are weak and afraid. They're wrong. She walked to the window, looking out at the city below. They killed 50,000 innocent people to send a message to the galaxy. Now Earth will send a message back. Admiral Choi was already making plans. I'll mobilize the first strike force immediately. 3,000 ships should be enough for the opening phase. What about the other alien species? Nam asked. Some of them are our trading partners. They'll understand, Kang said. When someone attacks your family, you respond. That's a universal law. And if they don't understand? Han asked. Choi smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. Then they'll learn what happened to the last species that attacked humans. 6 hours later, Hidden shipyards across the solar system came alive. Ships that officially didn't exist powered up their engines. Soldiers who were supposed to be farmers and miners put on military uniforms. Admiral Choi stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Soul's Hammer, watching Earth grow smaller through the view screen. Behind him, Captain Lim Yunji was preparing the ship for its first real combat mission. "Admiral," Yunji said, "all ships report ready. The first strike force awaits your orders." "Set course for the Vorthak Empire," Choi commanded. "And Captain?" "Yes, sir. Make sure every ship in the fleet understands their mission. We're not going there to win territory or resources. We're going there to show the galaxy what happens when you murder human families." As the fleet jumped to hyperspace, President Kang sent a message to every human colony in the galaxy. "Earth remembers New Busan. Earth is coming." The Vorthak Empire had made their first mistake. Soon they would learn it was also their last. Commander Oh Dong-soo watched the Vorthak supply depot grow larger on his ship's screen. Regulus Station was huge, with dozens of docking arms and thousands of alien workers. It supplied weapons and food to half the Vorthak military. All ships. "This is Commander Oh," he spoke into his communication device. "Remember, we want prisoners who can give us information, but anyone who resists dies." Captain Lim Yunji's voice came through the speakers from her ship nearby. "Commander, my weapons team is ready. The quantum destabilizers are charged." "Very good, Captain. Begin the attack." The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace just outside the station. Alarms started screaming on Regulus Station as the Vorthak spotted the unknown ships. A Vorthak voice spoke in broken human language over the communication system. "Unknown ships. This is Regulus Station. You are in Vorthak space. Leave now, or we will destroy you." Commander O smiled. "This is the human ship Iron Will. We're here to collect payment for New Busan colony." "Humans? Impossible. Humans have no military ships. We destroyed your only colony." "You destroyed one of our colonies," O replied. "Now we'll destroy everything you have." The first human ships opened fire. Beams of energy hit the station's shields, but these weren't normal weapons. The quantum destabilizers didn't just damage the shields. They made them disappear completely. On the station, Vorthak commanders watched their defense systems fail in seconds. Nothing in their experience had prepared them for weapons that could unmake matter itself. "All stations, emergency broadcast to the Empire," one Vorthak leader screamed. "The humans have weapons beyond our understanding." But it was too late for warnings. Captain Lim Yunji's dreadnought moved closer to the station, its main cannon charged with enough power to crack a small moon. "Fire!" she ordered. The quantum beam hit the center of Regulus Station. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire middle section of the station simply stopped existing. 15,000 Vorthak died instantly. The remaining Vorthak tried to surrender, but the humans weren't finished. Major Baek Jin-ho's troops launched from assault ships, wearing armor that made them look like metal giants. The Vorthak had never seen powered armor before. Each human soldier was 3 meters tall in their suits, with weapons that could punch through tank armor. They moved faster than anything that big should move. "Secure the command center," Major Beck ordered his troops. "Take their computer systems intact." The battle on the station lasted 20 minutes. When it ended, every Vorthak soldier was dead or captured. The humans hadn't lost a single person. Dr. Song Mi-young was on one of the support ships, watching her nanobotic weapons work for the first time in real combat. Tiny robots, smaller than dust particles, had infected the Vorthak computer systems. Now their own machines were helping the humans. "Commander O," Dr. Song reported, "the nanobots have accessed their communication network. We now have real-time access to their military traffic." "Excellent. What are they saying?" "Panic, mostly. They're calling us demons and monsters. Some of them think we're not really human." "Commander." O looked at the destroyed station. "They're right. We're not the same humans who built peaceful farming colonies. We're what humans become when you murder our families. 3 days later, the human fleet attacked the Vega shipyard, where the Vorthak built their military vessels. This time, the aliens were ready. They had pulled back their civilian workers and prepared their defenses. 30 Vorthak warships, reported the sensor officer on Commander O's ship. They're using their newest designs. Any of them match our intelligence files? O asked. Negative, sir. These are ships we haven't seen before. Captain Lim Yunji's voice came over the communication. Commander, request permission to test the new gravitational weapons. Permission granted. Show them what human science can do. The Soul's hammer fired a weapon that didn't look like much, just a small projectile moving at incredible speed. When it hit the first Vorthak ship, something impossible happened. The ship began to collapse in on itself, as if a black hole had appeared inside it. The other Vorthak ships tried to run, but the humans were faster. One by one, the alien warships were destroyed by weapons that broke the laws of physics as the Vorthak understood them. The entire shipyard is ours, Major Beck reported after his troops finished searching the facility. We've captured their newest ship designs and manufacturing equipment. Any survivors? Commander O asked. About 200. They keep asking us who we really are. They can't believe humans could build weapons like this. Dr. Song was studying the captured Vorthak technology. Commander, their weapons are at least 50 years behind ours. Their ships are slow and their armor is weak. They've been fighting species with similar technology for so long, they never expected to face real advanced weapons. How many more facilities like this do they have? According to the captured data, 5 major shipyards and 12 supply depots. Then we'll visit them all. The attack on the Altair mining worlds was different. 3 planets where the Vorthak had enslaved other alien species to dig up resources. The human fleet arrived to find thousands of aliens being worked to death in the mines. New mission parameters, Commander O announced to his fleet. Protect the slaves. Kill only the Vorthak. This required more careful tactics. The humans used precision weapons to target only the Vorthak installations while leaving the slave quarters untouched. They dropped medical supplies to the prisoners and broadcast surrender terms in 17 different alien languages. Major Bayek's troops went from camp to camp, freeing prisoners who had been slaves for decades. Many of the freed aliens had never seen humans before, but they understood that these metal giants were there to help. The slaves are telling us interesting information, Dr. Song reported. The Vorthak have been expanding their empire by attacking peaceful species. We're not their first victims, but we'll be their last, Commander O replied. On the 3rd planet, the humans found something that made them even angrier. A prison camp where the Vorthak kept captured soldiers from other species. The conditions were horrible. Many prisoners had died from disease and starvation. Commander, Major Bayek's voice was tight with anger. We found prisoners from 12 different species here. Some of them have been here for 20 years. Free them all. Give them medical care and food. Sir, some of them are asking if they can join our fight against the Vorthak. Commander. Oh, thought about this. Tell them we appreciate the offer, but this is a human matter now. However, if they want to go home and tell their people what they saw here, we won't stop them. The last major target in this phase was a Vorthak communication center that coordinated their military across 6 star systems. Captain Lim Yunji's ship approached alone, using stealth technology that made it invisible to Vorthak sensors. One ship against their strongest base, she said to her crew. Let's show them what the Soul's hammer can do. The Dreadnought's main weapon charged for a full minute, building up enough energy to glass the entire moon where the communication center was built. When it fired, the beam was so bright it could be seen from nearby planets. The moon cracked down the middle. The communication center and everything around it simply vanished. All Vorthak military communications in this region are down, Dr. Song reported. They can't coordinate their forces anymore. As the human fleet regrouped, Commander O received a priority message from Earth. Admiral Choi Jae-sung appeared on the screen. Excellent work, Commander. Intelligence reports that the Vorthak High Command is in complete panic. They're calling emergency meetings and trying to figure out how to fight an enemy they can't understand. What are our next orders, Admiral? Phase 2 begins now. We've captured one of their military leaders, correct? Yes, sir. Grixtal, the one who commanded the attack on New Busan. Perfect. I want you to interrogate him personally. Find out everything about their homeworld, their government, and their military structure. And after that? Admiral Choi's face was grim. After that, we go to their homeworld and finish this war. Commander O looked out at the stars, thinking about Lee Dae-ho and all the people who died on New Busan. They had been farmers and teachers and children. Now their deaths would be the end of an entire empire. Sir, he said to Admiral Choi, the Vorthak started this war by killing innocent people. How do we end it? By showing the galaxy that attacking humans has consequences, Choi replied, and by making sure no other species ever makes the same mistake. Ambassador Shin Woo-jin stood in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Trade Council, watching alien representatives whisper among themselves. The news of humanity's military campaign had spread across the galaxy in just 2 weeks. Everyone wanted to know who the humans really were. The Vorthak Empire has lost 6 major installations in 10 days, announced Counselor Zephyr, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. The humans are using weapons we've never seen before. Impossible, said another counselor, this one from the reptilian Saurid Republic. We've traded with humans for 30 years. They're farmers and explorers, not warriors. Shin smiled quietly. Let them think that. The longer other species underestimated humanity, the better. Intelligence agent Ko Yonseo sat in a corner, pretending to be a trade representative. Her real job was gathering information about how different alien species were reacting to the war. Her hidden recording devices captured every conversation. The humans destroyed Regulus Station with some kind of matter dissolution weapon, one alien whispered to another. 15,000 Vorthak died in seconds. That's just propaganda, the other replied. No species has weapons that advanced. Ko made notes on her hidden tablet. These aliens still didn't understand what they were dealing with. Back on Earth, Admiral Choi Jae-sung was reading intelligence reports from across the galaxy. Every alien government was having emergency meetings about the human Vorthak War. 12 species have sent secret messages asking about alliances, reported Intelligence Director Nam Hyun Woo. They want protection in case we decide they're also threats. And the others? 6 species are openly supporting the Vorthak. They're sending weapons and supplies. They think if the Vorthak fall, humans will attack everyone. Admiral Choi studied the star maps on his office wall. Red dots showed Vorthak territory. Blue dots showed human colonies. Green dots showed neutral species, and yellow dots showed potential threats. What about the species that the Vorthak enslaved? Choi asked. 17 different species have declared independence from Vorthak rule. They're calling themselves the Liberation Alliance. Some of them want to join our war effort. No, this is a human matter, but make sure they know we support their freedom, President. Kang Subin entered the office carrying a tablet with diplomatic messages. Admiral, we need to make some decisions about our broader strategy. What kind of decisions? 6 Vorthak ally species have issued statements condemning our actions. They're calling us monsters and war criminals. They want the Galactic Trade Council to impose sanctions on Earth. Choi laughed. Sanctions? Against the species that just destroyed a major military empire in 2 weeks? That's exactly why they're scared, Kang replied. They think we might turn on them next. Ambassador Shin was still at the Trade Council when the Saurid representative stood up to speak. The human military actions violate 17 different galactic laws about proportional response, the reptilian said. The Vorthak destroyed 1 human colony. The humans have killed hundreds of thousands of Vorthak in response. The Vorthak killed 50,000 innocent civilians, Shin replied calmly. They broadcast the murders as entertainment. They said humans were weak and deserved to die. Now they're learning they were wrong. But surely peaceful negotiation. There can be no negotiation with species that hunt children for sport, Shin interrupted. The Vorthak made their choice when they attacked New Busan. Now they live with the consequences. The hall erupted in arguments. Some aliens supported humanity's right to defend itself. Others worried that humans were too dangerous to be trusted. Ko Yeon-seo watched a group of aliens from the Hegemony Coalition talking quietly in the corner. Their species had territory near human space, and they looked nervous. The humans have been lying to us for decades, one of them said. They let us think they were weak while building a massive military. What if they decide we're a threat? Another asked. Their weapons could destroy our homeworld in minutes. We should contact them immediately. Offer alliance terms. Ko smiled. Fear was making Earth's neighbors more reasonable. Meanwhile, in Vorthak space, Supreme Leader Thexanol was holding emergency meetings every day. His generals had no explanation for how humans had developed such advanced weapons. They're using technology that's impossible, General Kravnok reported. Weapons that unmake matter. Ships that move faster than light in normal space. Soldiers in armor that makes them indestructible. How many ships do they have? Thexanol demanded. We don't know. They keep appearing with new fleets. Our intelligence says they have at least 3,000 warships, but that seems impossible for such a small species. And our allies? The Hegemony Coalition and the Saurid Republic are still sending supplies. But 6 of our client species have declared independence. They're afraid the humans will attack them if they stay loyal to us. Thexanol stared at the tactical display showing human fleet movements. The humans weren't just winning battles. They were destroying everything the Vorthak Empire had built over 2 centuries. What about the other human colonies? He asked. Can we attack them? Sir, our latest intelligence shows that every human colony now has military defenses we didn't know existed. Hidden weapons, shield generators, fighter squadrons. We think they were always there, just hidden. So we can't even get revenge on their civilians? Not without losing everything we have left. Back at the Trade Council, Ambassador Shin received a priority message from Earth. President Kang wanted him to deliver an ultimatum to the Vorthak's allies. Honored representatives, Shin announced to the Council, Earth has a message for any species currently supporting the Vorthak Empire. The hall went silent. Everyone knew that human messages had been very direct lately. You have 72 hours to stop all military aid to the Vorthak. After that time, any species found supplying weapons, ships, or soldiers to our enemies will be considered hostile. And what does that mean? Asked the Saurid representative. It means, Shin replied, that you'll discover what happened to the species that murdered our families. The threat was clear. The Vorthak Empire was dying, and anyone who helped them would die too. Within 24 hours, 4 of the 6 Vorthak ally species announced they were stopping all aid. The Saurid Republic and 1 other species decided to keep supporting the Vorthak. Foolish, Intelligence Director Nam told Admiral Choi. They think numbers will save them. How many ships do they have together? About 800. Modern designs, but nothing like our technology. And they think 800 ships can fight the fleet that destroyed the Vorthak military? Apparently. Admiral Choi made a decision that would change galactic politics forever. Send a message to the fleet. After we finish with the Vorthak homeworld, we visit the Saurid Republic. Agent Ko Yeon-seo was listening to alien communications when she heard something important. The Liberation Alliance, the species freed from Vorthak slavery, was planning something. They're not just declaring independence, she reported, to Earth. 17 species are forming a mutual defense pact. They want to make sure nothing like the Vorthak Empire ever happens again. Are they asking for human support? President Kang asked. No, ma'am. They're specifically saying this is their own decision. but they're modeling their new government on human democratic principles. Interesting. So our example is spreading. Yes, ma'am. Several other species are also talking about reforming their governments. The humans have shown them that small, free societies can be stronger than large empires. The galaxy was changing. For 200 years, the Vorthak Empire had been one of the major powers, controlling resources and enslaving weaker species. In 2 weeks, the humans had shown that empires could fall. More importantly, they had shown that attacking innocent people had consequences. Species across the galaxy were reconsidering their policies about war and expansion, as Admiral Choi prepared. For the final phase of the war, he received reports that made him proud. Human colonies were being contacted by dozens of species wanting trade agreements and defense pacts. The galaxy wasn't just afraid of humans. They respected them. Sir, Captain Lim Yunji reported from the fleet. We're ready to proceed to the Vorthak homeworld. All ships are in position. Very good, Captain. But first, we have one more message to send. The message went out across the galaxy, broadcast on every communication frequency. President Kang Soo-bin spoke directly to every intelligent species, in known space. The Vorthak Empire chose to murder innocent humans, she said. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. In 72 hours, their empire will end. We hope the galaxy learns from their mistake. Ambassador Shin watched the alien representatives as they listened to the message. Some looked scared. Others looked impressed. All of them understood that the galaxy had changed forever. The age of the Vorthak Empire was ending. The age of human influence was just beginning. Admiral Choi Jae-sung stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the Vorthak homeworld grow larger on the screen. Kethmaran was a beautiful planet, with blue oceans and green continents. 2 billion Vorthak lived there, most of them innocent. Civilians who had never hurt any humans. Admiral, Captain Lim Yunji reported from her ship. We have visual contact with their defense fleet, 300 ships in orbital formation. Any sign they want to surrender? Choi asked. Negative, sir. They're powering weapons and moving to attack positions. Choi sighed. He had hoped the Vorthak leadership would be smart enough to surrender. 50,000 humans had died because of their cruelty. Now millions of Vorthak might die because of their pride. All ships, this is Admiral Choi. Remember our mission. We are here to end the Vorthak Empire, not to commit genocide. Protect civilian areas. Target only military installations and government buildings. President Kang Soo-bin was in the communication center on Earth, monitoring the final battle. She had tried 3 times to contact Supreme Leader Thexnul directly, offering terms for surrender. He had refused to even answer her calls. Ma'am, Intelligence Director Nam reported, we're receiving communications from the planet's surface. Civilian groups are asking for protection. What kind of protection? They want to surrender separately from their government. Entire cities are declaring themselves neutral. Kang nodded. Tell Admiral Choi, if they surrender, we protect them. The space battle began when the Vorthak fleet opened fire. Their weapons were powerful, but they were using traditional technology against human ships that bent the laws of physics. Enemy missiles incoming, reported the weapons officer on Admiral Choi's ship. Impact in 30 seconds. Activate quantum shields, Choi ordered. The Vorthak missiles hit an invisible barrier and simply stopped existing. The aliens had never seen defenses that could make weapons disappear instead of just blocking them. Return fire, Choi commanded. Target their command ships only. The human fleet fired precisely. Each shot destroyed exactly 1 Vorthak ship, no more and no less. The aliens watched in horror as their strongest vessels were eliminated with surgical precision. This is impossible, screamed the Vorthak fleet commander over the open communication channel. How do you have such weapons? We've had them for decades, Admiral Choi replied. We just never needed to use them before you murdered our families. Captain Lim Yunji's dreadnought moved through the enemy formation like a shark through fish. Her ship's weapons reached out and touched Vorthak vessels, which then collapsed into nothing. 50 enemy ships destroyed, she reported. No damage to human forces. On the planet below, Supreme Leader Thexanol watched his fleet die on the tactical screens. Every few seconds, another green dot disappeared from the display. "How many ships do the humans have?" he demanded. "We've counted over 4,000, Supreme Leader. And they keep arriving." 4,000? How is that possible? "Our intelligence said humans only had a few dozen ships." "Our intelligence was wrong about everything, sir." Thexanol stared at the screens showing human ships surrounding his planet. They weren't even trying to hide their numbers anymore. Massive dreadnoughts, sleek destroyers, and carrier ships that launched fighters like clouds of metal insects. "Sir," his communication officer reported, "the humans are broadcasting surrender terms." "I will not surrender to farming insects," Thexanol screamed. "Sir, they're offering to spare all civilians and most military personnel. They only want the leadership who ordered the attack on New Busan." "Never!" But many Vorthak were smarter than their leader. Entire military units were laying down their weapons and broadcasting surrender signals. They had seen what happened to the ones who kept fighting. Major Bayek Jin Ho led the ground invasion with 10,000 human soldiers in powered armor. They landed in the capital city while the space battle continued overhead. "Remember," Bayek told his troops, "civilians are not targets. Anyone who surrenders is to be protected. We're here for justice, not revenge." The Vorthak ground forces tried to fight, but it was hopeless. Human soldiers moved like metal giants, their armor deflecting everything the aliens could shoot at them. Their weapons could punch through buildings or stun enemies without permanent harm. "Secure the government complex," Bayek ordered. "I want Thexanol alive for trial." In space, the last Vorthak ships were trying to escape. Captain Lim Yunji's fleet pursued them, but they weren't shooting to kill anymore. "Disable their engines," she commanded. "Let them drift. We'll pick them up later." Admiral Choi watched the battle end from his command chair. In 6 hours, they had destroyed the largest military fleet in this sector of the galaxy without losing a single human life. "Admiral," his communication officer reported, "we're receiving surrender signals from the planet's surface. The Vorthak government is requesting terms." "Too late for terms," Choi replied. "They chose to fight instead of surrendering when we offered mercy. Now they accept unconditional surrender or we continue the bombardment." Supreme Leader Thexanol was hiding in his command bunker deep underground when Major Bayek's troops found him. The alien leader was surrounded by his top generals, all of them armed but clearly terrified. "I am Thexanol, Supreme Leader of the Vorthak Empire," the alien announced when the humans broke down his door. "I demand to be treated according to galactic laws of war." "You mean the laws you ignored when you hunted human children for sport?" Major Bayek asked. His voice was amplified by his armor, making it sound like the voice of a metal god. That was military necessity. "No," Bayek replied. "That was evil, and now you answer for it." The trial of the Vorthak leadership was broadcast across the galaxy. President Kang insisted that it be public, so every species could see that humans believed in justice, not just revenge. The evidence was overwhelming. Recordings of Vorthak leaders laughing as they hunted human civilians. Orders to make the killing slow and painful. Communications calling humans weak insects that deserve to die. "The Vorthak Empire is hereby dissolved," announced the human judge. "All conquered territories are freed. All enslaved populations are released. The leadership responsible for war crimes will serve life sentences on prison worlds." "And what happens to our people?" asked one Vorthak general during his testimony. "Your civilians will be protected and helped to build a new government," the judge replied. "Your military will be reduced to defense-only forces. Your species will learn to live in peace with their neighbors. And if we refuse, The judge gestured to the screen showing human warships in orbit around every major Vorthak world. Then you'll discover what happens to species that refuse to learn. But most Vorthak were relieved the war was over. They had been told that humans were weak and cowardly. Instead, they had met humans who were powerful but fair. The conquerors could have destroyed their entire civilization, but chose mercy instead. 5 years later, Lee Min-gyu stood on the observation deck of New Busan 2, watching the morning sun rise over wheat fields that looked exactly like the ones his father had tended. The new colony was built on a world that had once belonged to the Vorthak Empire. Another peaceful day, he said to himself, just like his father used to do. The memorial wall behind him listed the names of everyone who had died in the original New Busan attack. At the bottom, an inscription read, "They thought we were weak. They learned otherwise." Ships moved across the sky above the colony, human ships, but also vessels from a dozen other species. The galaxy had changed after the Vorthak War. Other species now sought human friendship instead of fearing human weakness. Administrator Lee called Park Yun-soo, the new security chief. "We have a message from Earth Command." "What's the news?" "The Liberation Alliance just signed a formal peace treaty with the former Vorthak territories, and the Saurid Republic is requesting a meeting about trade agreements." Min-gyu smiled. The Saurid Republic had been one of the last species to support the Vorthak. After seeing what happened to the Empire, they had quickly changed their minds about human friendship. "Any threats to the colony?" Min-gyu asked. "None, sir. The nearest hostile species is over 50 light-years away, and they're too busy worrying about their own defense to threaten anyone else." Min-gyu looked out at the peaceful fields and the busy spaceport. This colony was everything his father had dreamed of, a place where humans could live and grow in safety. But unlike the original New Busan, this colony had something extra. Hidden beneath the farms and cities were defense systems that could destroy attacking fleets. The humans had learned their lesson about appearing weak. "Sir," Park continued, "there's one more thing. A delegation from the Vorthak successor government wants to visit the memorial. They want to pay their respects to the people who died." "Approved," Min-gyu said, "but make sure they understand the rules." "What rules, sir?" "They can honor our dead," Min-gyu replied, "but they should remember why those people died. The galaxy is more peaceful now because everyone learned what happens when you attack human families." As the sun climbed higher over New Busan 2, ships from across the galaxy approached the spaceport. Traders, diplomats, and tourists all coming to see the colony that represented humanity's place in the galactic community.